of the songs on this album, for anybody who doesn't know, it's got just great, your perfect choice of covers, as usual. Cry Me a River, you do All the Things You Are, Mrs. Robinson, great version of that, a really cool version of Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood.
Thanks, yeah.
And then Autumn Leaves, and that's an interesting one because that's a tune that, if I didn't know better, I might say has been done to death.
Yeah, it's pretty hackneyed.
And so, and yet so talk me through how you would choose that tune and how you approach it.
That one, I had actually done once before. Long time ago, I did a version with a string sextet in the late 70s. That was really, really noir, very dissonant. Almost like if Bartók were to have arranged it, with a classical guitar kind of thing going, and so I'd always wanted to revisit that tune, and there's no Beatles songs, on this, and I've done 2 albums of Beatles, but Paul McCartney actually owns the publishing on Autumn Leaves, believe it or not.
Okay. So in a sense, there is a Beatles song.
Yeah, there is a kind of a Beatles song there, and it just was there. It was one that I kind of chose some of my favorites in terms like All the Things You Are and tunes that meant something to me and just seemed to kind of fit the mood. I mean, there was a whole B list of tunes that never made the cut because they were either too ragtimey or too jazzy or one thing or another. And it just kind of evolved from there. But like Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood, even though I grew up with the Animals version of it, my reference for that was more readily the Nina Simone version of it. Because and it's funny because I started it in A minor. That's B minor in DADGAD, and I don't just stick to kind of like the sharp keys. I mean, I figured, well, the A minor seems obvious because you got an A and a G opening it up. But in fact, when I listen to the Nina Simone version, that lick doesn't come in until the end. And, so the Animals kind of took the end lick and developed it, whereas... And I got this, and it just made it more kind of, again, a noir kind of, like a dark thing.
Yeah.
And then, so when it gets to the chorus... So these kinds of, it's a C7, actually a C9, sharp 11, but without the third. I mean, I guess I did, but it's a little hard to, I can grab it that way, and then with the bridge, I can get into the strumorama kind of thing.
With plenty of open strings there.
And then get that dynamic. And a cool thing in DADGAD is that the 5 chord can often have an augmented fifth on it, and like the sharp 9 too.
And why is that cool for DADGAD?
Because it just happens. The fingering just happens.
The fingering just it lays nicely. Okay.
It lays nicely under the fingers, but there are certain things like I'm not off this album. When I arrange Blackbird, I do I do it in DADGAD in A. But when it goes to this section, all these lovely open strings, but here, because Paul sings the minor third, but he's playing the major. He's playing a major chord underneath, and then I just add the augmented fifth too. And that's a Steely Dan chord too. So,
in addition to all these great tunes that you cover on this, you have your own compositions on this record as well.
I want to make some publishing money.
Is it ever nerve-wracking to have a tune of yours that you've written maybe recently sit side by side with songs that have withstood the test of time for decades.
It is, but I go by feel. It's like, does this feel right? Does this fit? Does it tell a story? Is there some part of the journey in this that just makes sense to kind of go? And so, sometimes how like you have these kind of banquet meals where they'll come around with a sorbet, lemon sorbet as the kind of, like something that gets you between the salad and the entree.
To cleanse the palate.
Yeah, so some of my tunes can kind of function like palate cleansers, as it
Like
were.
a lemon sorbet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Very
I'm the master
nice.
of the lemon sorbet, the DADGAD lemon sorbet.